All right, and welcome to the dilation activity. This is related to section 12.7 from your book, and our goal is to get some practice working with the idea of what a dilation and a dilation point or point of dilation mean in the context of using it to create a zoom or a larger version of a given image. Now, I've selected for my demonstration of this, the picture of Jane from Disney's Tarzan. There she is. Uh, Everyone has their favorite Disney princess. I'm no different. Mine is Jane. She's intelligent, she's cultured, she's educated, she's confident, she's brave, and she is voiced by Minnie Driver, who is kind of cool. Anyway, for this activity, you can use one of the images that I provided for you that you picked up on your way out of class, or you can provide your own image to enlarge as much as you want to for this. So what you're going to do, take your image in the corner of the page, and you're going to create a dilation point, a point of dilation. Once you have that point set, everything is going to come from that. So what you do, take your point, take your ruler. I'm going to use a slightly thinner line than I usually use. I'm going to make it a dotted line so we don't gum up the page too much. Lastly, I'm going to turn off my arrowheads. I'm going to take and I'm going to go from that line through some point on Jane. So there it is. Boom. So there's a line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure that distance right there. So what I want to know is how far that is. Ruler. Let's get my ruler out here. So I can take my ruler and I'm going to measure how far it is from the dilation point to the edge of her hat. And I'm getting a distance of, it looks like about, so we're going edge of hat, so I'm going to write this down now, about 2 looks like it's 2.2. So I'll write that down. Now that's the original. So when I do the dilation, I want to go out some amount. Now I'm going to use a factor of 3 for my picture. It's up to you to decide how much bigger you want to make your image. 3 is probably a pretty safe number to work with. It should get you far enough out that you're not filling the page up with a lot. So I'll follow my ruler along to 3 times this number, which would be 6.6. Now if you look right here, I went out some distance, boom, there it is. Now I'm going to keep going to 3 times that. And I'll make a dot. So I go out to 6.6, and there's a dot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, make another straight line. I'm going to go from that same point. So this time I'm going to go through the other edge of her hat. So I'll put that right there. So the other edge of her hat. And I'll take my ruler. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure that distance. Let's see what we got. Now to the edge of her hat looks like it's going to be 3.4. Okay, so 3.4. Multiply that by 3. I get, looks like it's going to be 10.2. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go out to 10.2, which is right around there. I'll make another dot. And let's move my ruler out of the way. And let's draw some more lines here to help get this shape right. So I'm going to take from my dilation point, I'm going to let's get the top of her, this top edge of her hat, right there. So there's that line. Take my ruler again. So let's swing my ruler around so it lines up. Let's see if we can get a good fit there. There we go. Now it looks like to get to the edge of her hat, I'm going out a little over 2 centimeters again, so let's call that 2 point, what the heck, let's call it 2.2. Times that by 3, I get 6.6, and I'm going to make a dot out at the 6.6 mark. So there it is right there. Okay, fill that in. So what I want to do is continue to collect points along Jane's hat. I'm just going to work on that for now. Now your assignment is to do your best to collect somewhere around 10 to 20 total points. Because as you go, you're going to keep getting more and more points you can work with in order to flesh out what Jane's going to look like, or your cartoon, whatever you decide when you're done. I'm going to use the back of her hat here. So I'll take my ruler, come up over here. Let's swing the ruler around. Follows that line. So there's that. That's pretty good. So the back of her hat is about 1.7. Well, if I multiply that by 3, that's going to give me 1 and 5.1. So I go out to 5.1, which is about here. I make a dot. And I'm going to keep collecting these points until I feel confident that I can start to shade in the basic shape that her hat is going to follow. And there's her basic hat. And again, maybe I want to get that point right there to get that right. So I want to get this edge point on her hat, so I'll draw that line there, my guideline. I'll take my ruler, I'll measure that. And let's see what we've got going on here. It looks like if I count it out, I'm at 1.9. Multiply that by 3, that's going to put me at 5.7. Come out here to 5.7 and make a dot. It's right there. Get my ruler out of the way. And there's a 5.7 right there. So there's that dot. Now I can kind of start to see that band for her hat. It's going to fit right there. And again, while you're going, I want to see that list of numbers. Now remember, I've got my original number first, and then I have my dilation. Not dit. Dill. Thank you. So let's get rid of that. Let me do a little cleanup work here. Let's erase that. And let's put these in place. So original, dilation. And you can see every time I measure the distance from the dilation point out to my image, I keep writing those numbers down. I'm multiplying by a constant of 3. You could use 4. You might even be able to get away with using 5. It depends on how big you want to get your final picture. And you continue to flesh the shape out. If you do a really good job, you should be able to see, oops, didn't want to do that. You should be able to see that it starts to fit a nice, neat format. There we go, put that back. I wanted to take that, I wanted to copy her. So that in theory, if I take this and blow her up, I can start to see that her hat's starting to overlap the one I've been drawing. I'm going to make it a little bigger. And so you start to see that her hat's going to be a nice, neat match to what we've been drawing. So the more you work at this, the more your sketch is going to match the original. It'll just be dilated. It'll be larger. And that all comes from using that dilation point back here. Now remember, I'm looking for 10 to 15 points. You can use the line art I used. You can provide your own picture. And there's extra credit if you email or tweet your final drawing to me before midnight. And then I'll add it to the website so everyone can see how this stuff looks. All right, guys, good luck.